take Nusret, Salt Bay, Yanamais. They are the face of their company. If they went and opened, I don't know, a McDonald's tomorrow, they could easily just tell people, Yanamai's McDonald's.
Thank you all for tuning in. I just want to give a big shout out to our amazing sponsors, Jawala, who have sponsored all of our Dubai episodes. As most of you will know, Jawala is a huge brand that's taken over the UK with over 47 branches and growing. Not only have they recently launched in Canada, but I'm proud to announce that Jawala will also be launching in the beautiful city of Dubai in February 2022 in the brand new Dubai Hills Mall. Be sure to follow their journey across the social media platforms. All the details will be in the description below. Get ready to take a sip of the East.
Welcome to our first ever episode of Recipe to Success in Dubai. Today I'm joined by Talha, who's not only come from London but built a huge life for himself here. So thank you for coming on. Talha, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good, man. What about yourself?
I'm good.
Alhamdulillah.
This is honestly special for us. Obviously we've flown from Dubai, from UK.
Happy to have you here.
Yeah, and you were the first guest that I wanted to get on because you know you've lived both lives, and obviously, as you know, a lot of Londoners and you know people in the UK, they have that dream of coming to Dubai.
Of course.
And you've done it, and not only done it, but on a high level. So it'd be great to hear your story. So for anyone that doesn't know who you are, why don't you give us a bit of an introduction?
Well, Talha Nasir. I have a few businesses in Dubai. Built them whilst I've been here. I came from the UK around 7 years ago. Yeah, that's basically me.
What are some of those businesses? Give the audience an idea.
Well,
I know there's a lot, but let's go through one by one.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I have investments in about 36 companies out here.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a hard one to get my head around myself, and managing it all has been a bit of a nightmare, but I've got a very good team in place now. But yes, I have a few businesses like that I actually manage and I run myself. One is where we are now, is Ditech. We do PPF, wraps, car detailing, all that kind of stuff. I have Shisha Lounge, pipes. We have an import-export company, dried fruits, nuts, palm oil, cooking oil, all those kinds of amenities. We have LD and DXB, which I've literally just partnered up with recently from the UK. It's a clothing brand, which we're currently working very hard to promote and push right now. And yeah, I mean, I've got Pipe Signature opening. We've got a few other locations for the Shisha Cafe, new restaurants opening. We've got a few other things going on. I have my own energy drink as well,
Wow.
D1 Energy.
So how do you manage all of that? 36 investments plus, you know, companies that you manage day to day.
I've learnt that the people you surround yourself with, especially your team, as long as you trust them and you look after them, they will always look after you. That's basically it.
Nice and simple.
Yeah.
So let's go straight into how it all happened. Obviously, we'll go into the story, you know, prior to Dubai, but what inspired the move to Dubai, and how long ago did you come here?
Okay, well, I came here about 7 years ago. Inspiration-wise, so I had a business in the UK which I sold for a pretty decent amount to a company in the US, and if I had pushed that money into the UK, I would have been, you know, taxed 40 whatever percent it was at the time. I think it still is around that kind of money. So I kind of looked at options where I can preserve my funds whilst being able to expand my portfolio again. And Dubai was a logical option for me, my wife, my kids. It was just perfect because I thought, you know, it's an Islamic country, plus it has the, you know, the luxury, the amenities that everybody looks for. But when I actually got here, it was a completely different story. Yeah, it's a country that is nothing like the UK. The laws, everything is very different. You have to get used to everything. Coming here as a tourist, everybody is, you know, happy with the way they live in the UK. But when they come here as a tourist, Dubai provides a very secure environment for tourism. But when it comes to actually living here and building a business or a life or even a work life in general, it's a whole different ballgame compared to the UK. Completely different rules, regulations, all these types of things. It's completely different.
What are some of those things? Because there's going to be some people that maybe have never traveled to Dubai. They've maybe seen it on Instagram. They've seen this idea of going to Dubai, but maybe they've never taken that leap even for a holiday. So let's kind of assume that people have never been to Dubai, or they have the dream of moving here. What were some of those challenges that you had?
Moving here, actually, moving here is very easy. Yes, if you get an employment with a very decent, respectful company, moving here is very easy. They will provide your visa and everything is sorted for you. I said there's no taxes, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. But in general, if you're moving here to start a business, there is a lot of challenges. Depending on the type of business you're doing, the rules, the regulations, the permits you need to get hold of to do some of these things, it's very difficult. Little things like in the UK, you register a business for, I don't know, £50 online. I don't know how much it is now.
Company's house.
About 50, Company's house, £50 online. Over here, you're talking about £4,000 or £5,000 just for the registration process, the certification, whatever. And then you have to pay for that yearly, the same amount every year on year in out. And that's just one expense. Then there's all the other headaches just to build the framework in here to, put offices upstairs, getting the permits, the regulation. It's a very, very big process. In the UK, it's a lot more simpler. But if you are making a decent amount of money in this country, it outweighs everything. Because when it comes to taxes, people always say, oh, there's hidden taxes and this and this, that, blah, blah. Fine, but you're living tax free. You still have to pay for, their services. Okay, fine, you have to pay that £4,000 or £3,000 or whatever it is for the license. But if you're making, £500,000, then the £3,000 become negligible. Okay, fine, there's no free health here, but you're only paying, I don't know, £2,000 a year for your health insurance. Negligible when you're making that kind of money. It's when you're talking, making only £2,000 like you make in the UK. Some people, day-to-day jobs, they make, £1,800, £2,000 a month or whatever, on an average decent salary. Then this place is not for it. It's very difficult. The lifestyle here, just in general, the accommodations, the living expenses, the day-to-day, it's very difficult. And it can get very, very, it can really put a strain on you at one point. And keep in mind, you're in a foreign country, you're not saving anything, you're not, whatever, you just basically try and live a comfort life, and you try to pass by, and it's very difficult. I've seen a lot of people come here, I've seen a lot of people fail, I've seen a lot of people go back. It's the very few that manage to slip through the gaps and manage to actually make something of themselves, and they start rising very quickly. So this country can help you grow very fast as long as you're doing something right.
Okay, so take us off back to the first day you landed in Dubai. You decided to move here. How did that look? And you had obviously sold a business in the UK, and we'll go back to that a little bit later on. But you've come to Dubai. You've kind of seen everything. What was the first business that you launched, and how did that look? Okay,
so when I first came here, obviously my first aim was to find a way to get my funds over here without going through the UK. So it was sold in California. They directly transferred my funds here, opening the bank account, getting my visa sorted. It was a bit of a struggle. I was very lucky. I had a friend here who I worked with in Birmingham before, who already had a business, so he helped me with the visa and everything else. So that was sorted. Transferring the funds here, opening a bank account, it was a bit of a headache because the amount of how much it was to transfer over, they blocked it. So I was left without zero funds in Dubai for about, I think, 3-4 weeks. And it was a bit of a headache. I was like, what do? I didn't know what to do. But as I said, I was lucky to have friends here which helped me out and sorted everything. But coming here the first time, I didn't stay in a fancy hotel or anything. I lived in a hotel accommodation. It was just, for me, it was a good way to save the funds I had and reserve what I wanted to continue doing. And the first business, I didn't actually start it for about 2 years. I actually worked as a consultant. I ended up working as a consultant for my friend's company, holding on to my funds, just to explore the market. I didn't want to just dive in and just say, oh, okay, this is my life, this is what I'm going to build, this is what I'm going to do here. So
that was a wise decision.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's scary. I know so many people who have lost, as I said, exponential amounts of money here. I know people who have lost £20 million, £30 million in this country and just vanished. They're gone. They've left. They can't do anything because, as I said, it it takes one little mistake anywhere in the world. If you go anywhere in the world, anyone who doesn't make a wise, sensible commitment to any kind of decision they do, you're going to mess it up. You got to explore your market. You need to see what you want to do and how you want to do it. And I realized that what I wanted from my life is to enjoy what I do, because it's just not fun, right? If you're going to, once again, if I wanted to go into any job, I could have gone into a 9 to 5. I could have done anything. As I said, I started working as a consultant for my friend's company, which was an import-export company. I ended up taking over his energy drink brand as my start, because that was what I was consulting on with him. And I helped take it to Europe. We started selling in the European markets. And we pushed it in the Europe market, so it's selling in nightclubs and all sorts of places over there as mixers and whatever else. So I took that first. Then from there, I expanded to take over his company. He generally was moving over to doing heavy machines, and he wasn't focusing on his import exports. So we took over the dried fruits, nuts, palm oils, cooking oils, all of that kind of stuff. That was easy. I already knew the business at that point and I was enjoying it, so I took that first. It was a good start, and keep in mind, my family didn't arrive here, so my wife and I had my son at the time. Now I've got 3 kids, but they were born here. They didn't arrive for about 2-3 months once I moved here, because I really wanted to make sure that everything was set up in place before they came over. So when I took over his business, so I was with him for about 6 months before I actually took over his business. And he continued. He still is around. He's a good friend of mine, and actually he is an investor in a lot of the businesses that I have, and he also works very close with me with other stuff. So yeah, I took over that, and that is, in Jebel Ali, we've consistently kept running, and we're doing very well there. And that was it. That's where I was then.
That was your start almost.
That was basically my start.
In business,
Once I got into that, I was then, in general, I was looking for investments. So I started taking over silent partner roles in companies, started investing in startups. There was a company that was, not even a company. There was a guy, a Pakistani, just a normal, average Pakistani guy. He would collect these tires. In the UK we have worn tires, right?
Yeah.
He'd collect them, and then he would go and sell the rubber in, we've got these recycling centres here. Over here you're not allowed to have, you can't put on...
The tread?
Yeah, no, you can't put on pre-worn tires. You can only buy new. Oh. So, I'm sure you can find it somewhere, but I've never been able to find it. But so he used to do that. And he turned around to me. I saw his slippers. He had made slippers out of the tires, right? I was like, how much do you pay for the tires that you take off of these? He goes, I pay nothing for them. I just take them. I go, how did you make the actual slipper? He said, I just cut it out, and it looked really good. I'm not even going to lie. It looked very good. It was a tire tread slipper. So I said to him, what would you like to, make more of these? He said, oh, I don't have money, sir. Okay, that's fine. It's not a problem. I said, I want to try and help you make more. So, and we're talking about a normal Pakistani guy he just come from Pakistan. He's just trying to make a living, trying to get by. There's a lot of workers here. So he was one of those type of people, but lovely guy. And it's been now 4 years. We ended up selling. So what we did is we set up a small factory with about 15, 20 people making these slippers consistently, all one size, and they're, for a use of maybe 3-4 months. We were selling them for the equivalent of about £1.50 to Umrah packages in the UAE. So they were being used. I think he managed to sell over 1 million pairs. I think it landed 2 years ago, 1 million pairs. I think he's at around 3.5 million now.
Wow.
And guy's got a life,
You changed his life.
I didn't. It's him. It was his
but you
idea.
gave him that support.
100%. And look, he ended up having enough money to buy 50% of the company off of me. So he's technically half the partner now, full half partner. I have no issues with it. I'm so happy for the guy. He managed to bring his kids here. They're going to amazing schools that people only dream of. They're going to the same school as my kids now. So
Lovely.
it lifts people, you know, that kind of a thing. That's the type of thing that I really enjoyed doing. And so I started looking for investment opportunities like that. So startup businesses where people are either struggling, have a brilliant idea, or, you know, something similar, or there are companies which are not struggling, they just need investment to, you know, expand or grow. That's why I started investing in. So that's where my 36 investments come in right now.
Okay.
That's where I'm sitting out on those. And yeah, so I grew my small little business stuff from there. And this stuff, Ditech and all my other businesses that I have, the Shisha Lounge. Shisha Lounge was actually an accident. It was supposed to be a cafe, just like a normal coffee shop. It ended up becoming a Shisha Lounge, but it's worked very well, alhamdulillah, for me. So yeah, this is all passion and hobby out here. The cars, everything else. I have my car rental company as well. It's all passion and hobby.
I love that. And you mentioned that you obviously brought your family with you, and you know you're raising your kids here.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is the biggest difference between London or UK and Dubai, in terms of quality of life, in terms of living here? Just again, assuming that, you know, people have no idea what that's like.
Of course. So this is no disrespect to the UK or anything. There is a lot more crime in the UK. There is a lot more hatred violence, I'd like to call it. Hatred violence. And children in the UK children anywhere in the world are like sponges. They pick up on everything. The kindness, the politeness that my children show living here, there's hardly any racism here. There's hardly any, you know, you think the UK is multicultural, Dubai is far beyond that. I mean, we have every kind of I think we have almost every nationality in the world here, maybe except 2-3 countries. And that, the way my children have been brought up is a lot more respectful in a way than I've seen some of the children in the UK being raised. The education here, people think, oh, maybe it's not good or whatever. I mean, we generally have one of the best education systems in Dubai. I'm not, you know, an advocate for Dubai itself, but generally Dubai has a very good, you know, it's very privatized, yes, and fees are very high. But as I said, when you're talking about making excess amount of money, then taxes, they're not here, you know. Paying children's school fee is not an issue. It's just very good. The life is very good for children here, and it's very safe. That's
and
the
of
main
course
thing.
the weather.
Oh, the weather is amazing. You know, you always keep smiling every day.
We were actually speaking to someone yesterday, and they were saying that UK is the happiest place.
They said the UK is the happiest
I mean,
place.
Dubai is the happiest
I was going
place.
to say, I landed in the UK for one day. I literally took the flight back that
UK
evening.
is like the most toxic place.
I took the flight back that evening. I'm not even lying. I mean, my friends here, I went in the morning from here. I landed there. I was there for 5 hours, and I took the flight at night back here, just because of how dry it looked. And it was grey. You know, when you come here, there's color, there's light.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels
and
refreshing.
everyone just seems like they're just enjoying their life, even if they're not necessarily earning the same amount as each other.
Of course,
but they're just, you know,
in general, it's scientifically proven the sun has, you know, the capabilities of, you know, increasing serotonin, bringing happiness out. So I'm not surprised.
And so obviously you built all of those businesses. Now you're 7 years in. What does the future look like for you, and what would you say? How would you say COVID affected the market, and what would you say the future looks like now?
Okay, well, the future of Dubai in general, we're picking up very quickly. This morning I was reading that the UAE's bounce back from COVID is amazing right now. This morning I was reading it, it was shocking how fast we've bounced back from everything. So in terms of business, and I think Expo is here, it's really helped Dubai a lot. We've grown back very, very quickly. Myself in general, I have a lot of other things in mind. The current business that I have, I'm currently working on those to expand those. This business, we're currently increasing its size, I think threefolds at the moment, in terms of what area we have and you know, the type of customers we're getting nowadays. It's a very good business. With our Shisha Lounge, we will be expanding, I think, to the US, UK soon as well. We should be in London. I keep getting pushed for places like Manchester and Birmingham, so I don't know, let's see, maybe Germany, those types of places. So yeah, we have, as I said, I have the brand LD and DXB as well. We're pushing that very hard. We should grow that to the UAE market and then take it back to the UK. It is currently in the UK we're bringing it here now. So
Amazing. So obviously you've built a great life for yourself. You've done all of that hard work. You've got multiple businesses. Where did it all begin? Forget Dubai. Let's go back to young Talha. Where did the drive come from, and where was your start in life in general?
So I'm British. I'm from the UK. We lived in Harrogate, in High Wycombe, in Luton, in Watford, even up north. I think at one point we lived there. I didn't come from a very wealthy background. My father is a doctor. He's an anaesthetist. My mother is a politician. But when we first came to the UK, my father came with nothing. He didn't have any money. We lived in council estates most of our life until my father managed to get hospital accommodation for us. And then we lived in a flat most of our life in the UK. I would like to say my father is my main drive, because today my father is probably one of the most well-respected and renowned doctors in his field for what he invented. He invented a product called iGel, which is used in every single operation in the world. There is, I think, very few countries in the world that don't use it. And I hope nobody ever has to go to for an operation, but I will give you a very brief idea of what it is. It's a intubation device. It's used to provide oxygen to the patient during the actual operation itself. And once you go into once they put you under, right, they put a mask on your face. After they put this mask on your face, they take it off and they put a tube down your throat. That tube is what my father invented. So that tube has probably saved more lives than anyone I know of. And my father practically gave up all of his life to build that. We didn't have any funds to do it. He didn't have the money for it. He was an anaesthetist, but he was a junior most of his life. But he was inspired from college. He had the idea from college when he was in the UK, but he grew up in the UK, in Pakistan. He grew up in a small village in Multan, so he didn't have lights. Even till today, I don't even go to that village on purpose because they don't have light. I just physically can't. It's mosquitoes and everything. I can't do it. So I don't know how he grew up in there, but if you're talking about my childhood and growing up and my motivation, my dad is my biggest motivation. There is no bigger motivation for me. Even today, if there's anything I can't think of or I can't do, I will pick up my phone, I'll call my dad straight away. I'm like, Dad, what do you think? Should I? And he will give me a clear-cut answer, and I listen to him. One thing I have learnt growing up is that no matter, a lot of people say, oh, my dad is wrong, he's old, or my mum is, they're old people, they're old generation, they don't understand. You know what? I'm 32 now, and I have 3 kids, and I have learnt, with age, there's a lot of wisdom, and there's a lot of things that come with it, and the experience you gain from having all of that, it's something else. And I see it now, like with my father, I see it. Before I'd say the same things to him, I'd be like, yeah, you don't know anything, you're old, you don't know this, you don't know that. He's far ahead of me in everything. It doesn't matter if he doesn't know how to use a PlayStation. It doesn't matter if he doesn't know. That guy is somewhere else compared to me, in another hemisphere.
And in fact, we'll probably get to that point where we're out of date. There's so many things
100%.
constantly happening, and there might be a time eventually where there's new technology that we can't understand. So
100%. But as I said, understanding, this is one thing people don't really think about in business, is businesses can flourish no matter what you do, but you need to understand people. If you don't understand people in general, if you don't have people skills, you can lose everything very quickly. My father has always taught me that the staff that I have around me, if I look after just those people, nothing else matters, because they're the ones that are going to be looking after what you're doing eventually. You hire the right people, you surround yourself with the right people, and those are the people that will always keep pushing you forward. If you lose all of them, you've got nothing. You don't even have a business, So at the end of the day, it's a people skill, and people skills are learnt throughout time. You learn to, you know, differentiate between different people throughout time, and it's literally about who you surround yourself with. And that's the main thing I learned growing up. My father always said to me, people skills, people skills. I lack people skills, and it took me a very long time to realize what people skills were, and that's a very important thing in business. If as long as you know how to talk to people, as long as you are respectful, there is no one above you, there is no one below you. It doesn't matter if it's the guy cleaning the streets or if it's the guy sitting in the office upstairs. They're the same people, you know. They've all got a heart. They're all, you know, got the same mind. They want to do best for their own life. They want to do the best for their own families. And if you can understand that, then everybody around you will respect you, and you will be able to learn to respect everybody else. And that's where the whole thing of people think, yes, glamorous lifestyle, Dubai, all that kind of stuff. It is. I'm not going to lie. I've enjoyed it, and I really enjoy it all the time. But at the same time, I respect, as I've got older, I've started to respect what I have more and more every single day.
And I think also that helps you become an even better leader, because if you understand people and you understand that everyone is in that same boat, everyone is trying to provide and everyone is trying to build a life for themselves, it makes you want to look after those people.
Of course, 100%. I think in general being Muslim, it makes sense, you know, to respect people around you and learn what, I mean, I think it was, I forgot the actual quote, but, you know, the Prophet said, go to China if you have to get the knowledge, right? Nowadays, we have China coming to us, you know. As I said, we have all the nationalities in the world. Go learn them. You know, go see what everyone's about, see what people are doing, see the different things that are going on.
Because it's easy to get boxed in. Like, it's easy to only be in the bubble that you're around and just be around the people that are similar to yourselves. But when you realize that the world is bigger out there and that there's so many nationalities, so many differences,
100%.
There's beauty in the differences.
Yeah, I mean, when I took this company where we're sitting right now is Ditech, where we do the PPF wraps. I actually took over this business from somebody else. When I came in here, it was mainly filled with, I think, 2-3 Filipinos and Egyptians, Arabs. When I came in here, I changed it completely. We have probably about 7 nationalities working here now, and every single person is different from the other person. Okay, fine, people have clashes, but you know what? At some point they gel. And when they all gel together, I've seen these guys, you know, celebrate birthdays together. I've seen them, you know, throw little parties for each other. In Ditech, I don't mind them doing it right here, but at the end of the day, that, you know, that thing, it proves as humans, it doesn't matter what your skin color is, it doesn't matter what race you are, it doesn't matter who you are, you can gel, you can bond, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, you can get along with the other person. And just, you know, having a place like this, it shows you. Even in my shisha cafe, I have nationalities of all sorts. Those people, they party together, they live in the same apartment. You know, I gave them apartments, and you know, they send me videos of it. They say, oh, boss, we're missing you. We wanted you here, but we're cutting this cake for you. This kind of stuff, you know, it just makes you happy. It makes you think that's a family. You know, at the end of the day, your business should be like your family. You should respect it. So you should look after it and help it grow. And that's exactly what I've tried doing with all my businesses.
That's amazing. I can tell that you're quite close with your family. How do you kind of make sure that you keep that bond there being here? Is it just that you go back regularly and just try to stay in communication?
Well, my brothers fly here a lot. I only have 3 younger brothers. One of them actually lives here now with me. My mother and my other brother are in the UK. My father has actually moved here now as well.
Okay.
He lives in the Burj Khalifa. But yeah, he's moved here as well. And yeah, they fly in a lot. And we're so happy. My brothers, I think there's a video somewhere on Instagram or somewhere where they just literally, I was sitting at my shisha cafe and they flew in and surprised me out of the blue. So it's you know, it's little fun things like that. They always come around, they always keep coming, and it's not that bad. It's good. It's my wife so much more that she misses her family a lot more. But yeah, generally having friends here, having a good support system around, it's very, very, very strong.
Amazing. So you mentioned that you obviously, before you came to Dubai, you built a successful business that you sold. Let's go back a little bit in the start of that business, because you said your dad motivated you early on, and you had a difficult upbringing, you know, a little bit of hardship early on. So when you first started a business, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced, and how did that look? Because obviously starting a business is something that I think it's glamorized online, but a lot of people fail to take action as well. So for anyone that maybe is looking to start a business, take yourself back to that time, and what did that look like?
Okay. Well, my first business, I would like to say that I was very motivated or whatever else at the time. It wasn't so much that.
How old were you at the first business?
I'll tell
Go
you
for it. Go for
that.
it.
So I was in college. I had a friend who ended up going to the same uni as me, and he turned around. He was studying something completely different. I was studying human biology and sports sciences. He was studying something completely different in media. He said, "Oh, I have a brilliant business idea for media marketing. Let's do it." I'm like, "I don't know nothing about media marketing. What am I going to do in media marketing?" And he said, "Oh, bro, don't worry about it. It'll be brilliant." And we're in uni. I was like, okay, he may be a partner in it. I did not know nothing about it. Like, I had no clue. But he pushed it. Come to around our exam time, he stabbed someone with a pencil during the exam.
Okay.
He ended up in jail. So he didn't get to finish uni.
For a pencil?
Yeah. I obviously I won't mention his name, or I won't say any further, but yeah, with a pencil. His argument was good. He's out now, but his argument was good that the person next to him kept like looking over, and he kept telling them that stop looking, blah blah. They wouldn't listen, so he ended up hitting them. But at the end of the day, assault is assault. So that aside, I was still the partner, and whilst he was in jail, he signed over the business to me. He said, "You take it. I can't do it." Blah blah. Okay, fine. Now I'm left with a business I know nothing about. But I learnt very quickly that it doesn't matter what business you're in. Once again, if you surround yourself with the right people, they build that business for you. I don't know how, for example here, I don't know what PPF or these wraps are made out of. I don't know their chemical makeup. But if you go and ask my guy Greg in there, he will tell you A to Z. So for me, if a customer asks me, "Greg, come here," he's the master. My manager. The customer has this problem, he's the master. As long as your management technique is on point, as long as you put the right people behind you and in front of you, business is business, and it will carry on. So I learned very quickly that having the right people in any business is the most is the best thing you can do for a business. So very early on I learned that, and I literally put people in place that could help run that business, and that's where it went from success to success. So I eventually graduated. I went on. I obviously studied human biology and sports sciences, so I didn't want to focus on this business because I didn't know much about it. But as I said, I was continuously looking after it and managing it over time. I was hoping he would come out and he would come and get involved back again, but he didn't. So once I finished that whole side of my life, and uni was behind me, everything was done, I went on to actually doing what I was good at, human biology and sports sciences. I worked at a gym. I was training people. I became a manager at Ballantyne's. I think Ballantyne's closed now, but Ballantyne's gym, I was a manager. And eventually I had enough money to go back and reinvest into a business of my own. I thought, okay, I'll do something. But instead I went and reinvested back into that business. I grew it to a point where a company contacted me in California. I'd rather not mention, I have an NDA. A company contacted me in California, and they offered to buy it out. So I sold it to them, and that's where I am.
Was history, and then you came to Dubai. Amazing. So there's a lot of people that, including myself, that have debated for a long time, should I make that move? Should I potentially move to Dubai? Because obviously you come here on a holiday, like you said, it's beautiful. You see the differences in the UK, and not just the UK but other areas in the world as well. You kind of see the violence, you see things that are going on, the weather, etc., etc. But most people, they don't ever take that jump because it might be too far for them, whether that is family or finances or whatever it may be, and you have to be a very bold person to just pick up everything and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead with this. A move that you obviously made. So for anyone that is in that debate, what would you say for them to do in order to take that action? Because from my experience, I've seen a lot of people that just they get stuck in a cycle, and the cycle never stops. And even if their life isn't happy, or they're not content with their own life, they don't make that move.
Of course. I mean, okay, so Dubai is a very biased place. They are biased in terms the salary expectations always push over, which is a benefit for us, to British citizens, Australians, US, Canadians, sometimes Russians. So they're very biased to who they give the higher paid jobs to. Obviously things like your graduation, your undergraduate, whatever you've studied comes into play. But in general, the salaries in this country are very biased towards those people. Okay, so for UK citizens, it's great. Salaries are really good. We earn maybe 2-3 times what you'd earn in the UK. Finding the job is extremely difficult. Where you're coming from a country with a 70 million population to a country, and you talk about Dubai specifically, as a UAE population, there's only about, I think, 7 or 8 million people in this country. There's probably 10% of the businesses in this country than there is in, the UK. It's a very tough market. For anybody coming here, I would always stress, and I've always stressed this to friends, everybody, come here, 3 months, look at it. Figure out if you can potentially get a job here. If you go and do simple things like hand out your CVs and all this, it's enough. You will get callbacks. And once you go to those interviews, see if the packages are worth it first. Things like, are your kids' school salaries being paid? Or even if you don't have children, will they include that in the future? Are they paying for rent? Are they giving you accommodation? Is there cars? Your package in general. Over here, everything is package based. So you need to look at whether or not your packages are suitable for you. If you're doing the type of job you want to do. I mean, there's no point of being, a lawyer in the UK and coming here and working as a plumber. It's useless. So, if you're a lawyer in the UK, are you getting into finance law? Can you get a good job here? There's a lot of law companies here. Go explore all your options. There's a lot of British people here. The best thing in this country is the networking. When I mean networking, there's a lot of meetups. There's a lot of social gatherings.
Is that a part of the culture? Because it seems that people want to socialize more. People want to go out more, mingle more.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, so for the new people and for older people, there is like these social meets that everybody organizes, everybody goes to, and those things are very popular here. It's a country where you've come new to, and everybody is new here. Expats. Their country is about 10 years old. It's new. Yeah, it's not an old country. So it doesn't matter who you are. Just turn up to these events, and these events are what get you mingling, finding new opportunities, making friends out here. That's the main thing. A lot of people come here, they sit, they do work, and they've got no one around them. This country is a very social country. People want to go out, people want to meet new people want to do new things, and that's the main thing. If you network, you socialize very well here. If you can do that within 3 months and you get a clear picture, once you leave, you will know whether you're going to come back or not straight away. Don't ever come here empty-handed, thinking you'll find a job on the first day and think, okay, rent is this much and car is higher this much. It's not worth it. You will end up going backpacked, tail in your hands. Simple. I've seen so many people do it. Come here, they failed, they've gone back. And keep in mind, as I said, everybody wants to also make this luxury lifestyle. They keep seeing it, right? Even I didn't do that when I came here. I lived in a normal place, like I had a small apartment. I didn't do that. Okay, fine. Now I've moved. Because I've got a more established life here. I've moved. I've got a nice villa.
But you took the steps in appropriate time.
Yes. I mean, a lot of people, as I said, they come here. They want that. They want that luxury life. They want it straight away. It comes. Just give it time. And a lot of people make that mistake. They come here. They like, oh, I'm gonna make all my money. I know friends that have come here. They're making good money. I mean, I'm talking like £5,000-6,000 a month kind of salaries, which is a brilliant salary. But they've gone and got the biggest house they can find. They bought the nicest car. They bought I know somebody. It's not a friend of mine. I know somebody. He actually took out a loan of about £50,000 to buy a watch just so he could look nicer, and he couldn't pay it. And imagine that watch was the reason why he had to end up leaving the country, because he couldn't pay the thing. And over here, you default on anything, you do a bad check, it bounces back, they're not going to let you leave. They will put a ban on you. They will. Over here, it's a criminal offense to hand a check when you don't have any money in it. So you got to be very careful.
Very different to the UK, where the country's revolved around credit.
Yeah. So over here, there is a lot of credit, yes, and you can get it. You can get mortgages.
But you have to stick to your promises.
You gotta stick to your promises, and as I said, it's an Islamic country. It's a Muslim country at that, and they have some etiquettes and laws against to what they do and how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, the main thing is learn your environment and then progress. Don't just jump into it. And a lot of people make that mistake coming here. They do it all the time.
For me and you, I guess part of the fact that it's an Islamic country is a benefit, because it's a beautiful environment to be in. But obviously for some Brits, maybe they're not accustomed to that. What would you say are some of the things that you need to be wary of, if either moving here or just being on holiday?
Not much.
Because I guess there's a lot of misconceptions as well. Some people are really scared.
Even though it is a Islamic country, keep in mind, when we say Islamic country, they're very open to how everything. There's nightclubs here, there's alcohol, there is there's huge amount of socializing. It's not like you can't go into the beach and wear a bikini. You go to the beach, everybody's wearing bikinis. There's party lives here. There's socializing, and and yes, okay, I keep saying Muslim, but there is gurdwaras here, there is churches here. That it's not just that it's an Islamic country. If you go to my son's school right now, you won't see only Muslim kids there. There's I think 80% of them are from other nationalities, Europeans, US, Canadians. He goes to a British school. There are specific Emirati schools, yes. There are specific Iranian schools, yes. But there's a lot of British schools, there's a lot of American schools, there's a lot of other nationalities and schools like that. So in terms of being diversified, this country is extremely diverse, especially, and I keep saying this, in comparison to the UK, this place is extremely diverse. There is no racism here. Every person is the same as the next. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim or if you're white, if you're brown, if you're whatever. You're the same person to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. If a guy can't speak Arabic, they can speak English. Everybody speaks English in this country. There is no one or the other. Everything's written in English. It's a very good country to come and live in. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what race, what nationality, what religion.
100%. So aside from just being an entrepreneur, you've also built quite a following on Instagram. You've connected with a lot of big influencers that has helped become a catalyst for your businesses in general.
Of course.
It's helped push those businesses. So how important is that for you, and how do you divide your time? Because obviously you've got multiple businesses, you've got a family life, you've got a personal life, you've got the content side of things. How do you divide that, aside from just having a team? Because mentally, regardless, you have a team, no matter how fantastic they are, you still have to be on top of it. You still have to have that discipline. So how do you split your time? And do you maybe give one business a bit more energy, or do you balance it across?
Okay, so my businesses, a lot of them are very self-run. As I said, well, okay, fine. The team, yes, they're very good at managing and handling. I do get reports. I do know what's happening every day in, day out. I do spend my days, and I do divide them between each business. I have a water factory in Ajman, and I do go there twice a week. But I have a very good person in charge of it. It's one of my cousins, and he does a very good job of running it. So I do know what is happening between all my businesses. In terms of social media, I found, especially in a country like Dubai, social media is a very powerful marketing tool. There is, in my opinion, not much other comparison other than social media. People here are very concerned with image, with the way they look, the way they do things, and so am I. I'm not going to deny it. I like nice things, I'm wearing a nice watch, I have a nice car, and I have that for one reason only. I don't need it, but it's more that when you go and do business with someone, they know the stature that you're coming from. It changes the whole persona, especially in a country like Dubai. You can turn up in an old car, but as long as you're presentable, it doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're presentable. So,
but the first impressions count.
First impressions always count. in terms of myself and managing it all, I'm a very relaxed guy. I've never let pressure really get to me. I have had moments where I've thought to myself, it's a lot of stuff, it's too much to do, it's too much to handle. But as long as you time manage, and I have an amazing PA, she looks after me so well, I'm telling you. If you've got a good PA and she every 5 minute calls you, you've got this coming up and you've got this going on, and she can reorganize stuff for you, you've got a very beautiful life. But no, it's, in all general, time management is very important, and I time manage very well. My stress is non-existent. I just pray, you know. At the end of the day, you remember God is in control of everything around you. Nothing else can affect you, so that's it.
And you said that social media was really important from a networking point of view. I'm guessing also from a business point of view, it's helped in various ways. So
I think, I forgot who it was. There was some big social media guy, and he came up to me and goes, why are you just promoting your business why are you just doing paid marketing on, you know, your business, and why are you getting us in just to promote your business? Why don't you grow you? And he was right. What I didn't think about was that a lot of businesses nowadays take Nusret, Salt Bay, Yanamais. They are the face of their company. If they went and opened, I don't know, a McDonald's tomorrow, they could easily just tell people Yanamai's McDonald's or Nusret McDonald's, and people will flock to it. Why? Because it's them. It's not their business, it's them. So what I learned very quickly is that it doesn't matter if it was this business I'm promoting or if it is my shisha cafe or whatever. As long as I grow, I'm not into getting any fame. I'm not into, you know, social media. I don't really care about that. But as a business point of view, if I get big enough myself and I grow myself, I can easily tell people tomorrow, yeah, I have a car rental company. Go use it. You know, you want a supercar? Yeah, I've got it. You want a normal car? I've got it.
You have access to the reach.
I have access to the reach. I can so as I said, like, for example, if I got some really big influencer to come and just promote this place or promote me, I would have the reach to promote my other business. So why would I not use that power and promote the other business whilst I promote this, and just let him promote me? Do you understand? That's how I look at it now. So I don't want to just promote Ditech. I don't want to promote pipes. I want to push myself so I can promote everybody else around me. So yeah, and it comes in use for me. I have friends, you know, they have businesses. I want to look after my friends. I will push them as well, and I have the reach for it, so I can do it. So that's where it comes from.
It's very good. What motivates you now? Because obviously you've built an amazing life. You've got, in some ways, the ideal life that people would want to have. What keeps you going and staying motivated, essentially?
I get bored. I'm not going to lie, I get bored. If I do nothing, I will get bored. And when I get bored, I'm dangerous. When I mean I'm dangerous, I'll go spend money. I will just mess around. It's no point.
It's like they say that empty mind is the devil's playground.
100%. What motivates me is the future for my kids. I want to be able to give them a multiple of choices. Even if they don't take any one of what I have, I want to give them a multiple choice of, you know, coming in, learning. One thing that I wish I had done earlier in life is learnt what I know now much earlier, and started much earlier. Whether my kids in school or college, I'm going to make sure that they're in my businesses, involved all the time, because the growth only happens from practice. There is no education system in the world that can teach you or prepare you for this. You know, you can study however much you want in the UK. There's nothing that's going to prepare you to move to the US, to the UK. It doesn't matter where you move to. Dubai, this is a completely different system. It doesn't matter if you've studied in the UK or, you know, learnt you know, how atoms divide or how cells do whatever they do. It doesn't make any difference.
You have to go search for that information.
It's practical you know, stuff. You have to go there, you have to be hands-on, you have to learn it, and that's my motivation for it's mainly my family, my children, providing for them as long as I can. And I once they're old enough to do what they need to do or whatever, I will actually retire. Whether it's now or whether it's in another 20 years or even when I'm 60, I'll retire. I'll go and enjoy my life with my missus. I will go and travel the world. I'll do whatever I want to. I have plenty of time for that. But for now, my main motivation is, you know, growing for the people around me, my family, growing for everybody around me. I'm not even going to lie, my staff are actually some of my motivation as well. You know, when you see them doing well, especially like one of my staff had a baby recently, and he's been working for us for about 2-3 years. The fact that I know I provided for him and his missus to raise that child and paid for that child to go to a good school in the end,
It's fulfilling.
that's motivation. That's motivation. I mean, if there's nothing more motivating than that, nothing else exists, right? And even right now, I was just talking to him about it. I was like, how's the kid? How's amazing, this and that, blah blah. And that kind of thing, you think about it, I employ almost 149-ish people, and out of them, how many of them have families? People in this country, they send their money back home, and how many families am I touching just by paying a salary? You know,
Wow.
looking after them. How many people am I?
When you think about
actually-
it like that, it's,
well, how many people am I actually affecting? You know, if I even got rid of half of them, the 149 people, it doesn't matter about 149. There's the other 1,000 that are connected to them as well. They're living off of these people's salaries, because a lot of the people here, you got to understand, they earn their money here. They spend about 90% of it back into their home country. They give it to their mothers, their fathers, their wives, their children. They're not even living here with them, you know, because they don't have enough salary to think. So, you know, just the fact that you can provide that, that's motivating. That's motivation enough. Nothing else motivates you harder.
100%. And when you're running a small operation versus a larger operation, obviously you mentioned that 149 employees, that's a larger operation versus when you first started. I'm sure it was obviously on a lot more of a smaller scale. What changes and what were some of the changes in mindset that you had to have when running a small shop or a small operation versus a large operation? Because a lot of people don't get to that stage.
Management. The main thing is management. Did
you have to make any changes to yourself though as an individual?
Yes. So I had to give up a lot of my free time. When I had, one or two businesses compared to what I'm running now, I had a lot more free time. I was going out. I was, enjoying time with my friends, and now I don't have it. The free time that I had then, I don't have it as much. But I am not going to lie. I enjoy it a lot more. The whole thrill of getting up and knowing that I have this to do, and I get to finish it today, and every day is a new challenge. Every day is so fun. There is something new. Today it's coming here, sitting down with you. Tomorrow it'll be somebody else. Like literally after you, I have one influencer coming to pick up her car, going to do another video with them, and then straight after that I have another one coming. And it's just these little things. That's the exciting part. And then there's little tedious things where you're like, oh, why do I do it? Why do I even bother? But once again, it all comes around to the people around you, the team that helps you manage it. I didn't have them before when I had a smaller setup. Now that I had the bigger setup, I have an amazing team around me. The management team, the people that help look after each and every business individually, it's amazing. And that's what it boils down to, management. As long as your management is good and you look after the people around you, everything else is good. That's really it. There's nothing else.
You seem like a very humble person that doesn't really just care about himself. Like you do come across people that over time when they build success they get arrogant. And
that's from my dad. My dad has always taught me that. My dad, if you ever met him, if you can search him online, his name is Dr. Muhammad Aslam Nasir, and you will see what he has done and how he has done it in his life. But if you ever met that guy, you'll be shocked at how humble he is. He doesn't drive any fancy car. He bought a 18,000 pound car, and he drove that since the day he's lived in Dubai for the last 3 years or something, or 4 years now. And he doesn't care if he turns up to a meeting just wearing a suit and tie. And it doesn't matter what he's got on or whatever, he is the most humblest guy ever. And that's the main thing you need to, money can get to your head. And I'm not going to deny that it hasn't to me as well. I do spend. I do buy nice things.
But naturally, you're working for it. It's not like you're stealing from anyone. You're working for that. You have every right to.
I was literally saying that to who was it? It was a sheikh, and he was saying to me, "Oh, Talha, every Friday you're going to Emirates Mall. Why?" So I have a thing where every Friday I go to Emirates Mall and I treat myself to one thing, whether it be a shirt, a pair of jeans, anything, but just one thing. And throughout the week, that makes me happy. That's it. That's enough for me. But at the end of the day, it's still a £400 shirt or a whatever. Yes, I do treat myself to expensive items, and yes, I do like it. But I do it because it's something that I feel like I deserve, even though, you know, I could buy a lot more, but it's enough.
It's a perfect balance almost.
It's enough for me. And I do it once a week. It's my own thing. It's something I get away from. Nobody goes with me. I do it on my own. It's something I get away from the world, because the only time I turn my phones off, I turn everything off, I just go, I get myself something nice, and that's it. I'm done for the day.
Do you ever switch off fully?
Fully? Yeah, I do. But I mean, even last night, my friend is sitting right here. We were up till 6 a.m., 6:30, and literally just talking about work. And went to bed, woke up 9:30, 10.
I feel like people don't really sleep here that much. In general.
It's
like
I don't
UK,
know.
if you're not getting a good like 8 hours, you're like miserable.
Well, it's nice sun here, isn't there? You don't want to really be in bed when you got all that outside.
There's so much to do. Yeah.
It's just generally a very nice lifestyle here. As I said, in terms of switching off, let's go back to that. I haven't. So I took my one holiday. I went to the Maldives with my missus for 3 days. After 5 years, that was my first holiday after about 4 or 5 years, I remember, and I haven't gone on another holiday again. So that's my switch off. That was it.
Once in a while.
Once in a blue moon.
Speaking of your missus, how do you make sure that you're giving them enough time whilst running businesses? Because I get this question a lot, all the time. People are asking, you know, I'm running a business, I'm working so many hours, you know, myself included even. And when you're running a business, sometimes you can put in 18-hour days, 16-hour days, and it can get very intense. And then you go home and, you know, it's like, how can you justify having someone there?
I don't generally try and bring my work home as well. So what I do is when I do get 2-3 hours free in a day, I will go home, and it's not to eat or to do anything else. It's just to give some time to the missus. I do try my level best to give the kids time. My Fridays are the only day where none of my businesses are open except my restaurant, but I don't really go there much. I dedicate that entire day. That whole Friday is dedicated to my wife, to the little ones. I take them out, or I take her out in the evening. I give them time throughout the day, and I'm home. I'm switched off. That's my switch off. And you got to find one day at least to give them. And yes, working is good, but it can exhaust you very quickly. Doesn't matter how much you enjoy it. It doesn't matter what you do. It can exhaust you. I did say I was up till 6:30 last night, and I woke up at 10 today, and I've been running around since. But I have a headache right now. I actually have genuinely I have a headache right now, and that's not because I'm stressed or whatever. It's because I haven't turned off what we're talking about. So giving time to yourself is just as important giving time to, you know, the family and the missus. But to give time to the missus and to the children especially, I do dedicate an entire day to it, and that's a very important thing that people should do. There is, you know, everybody has a Sunday. You know, in the UK, you know, you're not doing anything on a Sunday. Give it. Okay, fine, you have work, but I'm sure there is plenty of people. If you've got your own company, you have to learn. This is the reason why I hired more people to manage. I could have done it myself, but you wouldn't have even had this interview today if I was doing it. I needed the team around me, and if anybody's running a business where they cannot give time to their family, they are running it in a very wrong way. They need to find a way to time manage, get the team around them to make sure that if they are not there, they can run that business. They don't need to always be present. A businessman never needs to always be present. And I say this time and time again, if someone wants to make time for you, there is no reason for them not to be able to make time for you. There is nothing, like literally nothing. It doesn't matter if it's going and, you know, for 5 minutes, giving time to take them shopping, or, you know, just going out for a simple lunch or a breakfast in the morning. Everybody has time. Everybody has time to make. It's about whether they want to make that time or not. That's the difference.
We all have the same 24 hours in a day.
Exactly. That's what it is. And okay, fine. There are very, there are some instances where you're like, okay, there is a very important meeting. I need to go to it. Fine. What are you doing after that meeting? I have a meeting in 2 hours after that. What are you doing for those 2 hours? I'm going over some notes. Okay, let's go for dinner. You go over the notes whilst you're having dinner. Fine. I've done it. I've actually done that. Okay, fine. It doesn't give you that full connection, but at least you're there and you're giving time. It doesn't take
It's
long.
the effort.
It doesn't take long to go over some notes. Half an hour you can do it. You can do it on the way in the car or wherever, and then that's it. You're done. You switch off for that hour and a half. You go to your meeting. Done. It's the effort that counts. Yeah, and it's about making time.
I'll definitely take that on board, and I'm sure everyone else will too. If you could credit your success to one habit, one piece of advice for the young listeners, for anyone that's trying to get to that stage, one thing, what would you say has been the most important thing for you along the way, whether that was the early days, later down the line?
Once again, it's something I learnt after a lot of failures. It's very important to surround yourself with the right people. You are who you surround yourself with.
It's such a cliche, but it's the truth.
It's so true. You don't understand. I mean, okay, whether I call them connections or I call them, whatever, if I wanted to, I could pick up my phone, I can call the likes of Sagan or, some big businessman, or I can go and call the friend I knew 5 years ago that is probably still not doing much for himself and go chill with him. But who will I grow more around? It's good to give the people who want to spend time with you the opportunity to grow. At the same time, it's always good for you to be around the people you want to grow to be like. And it's the main thing. As I said, I never used to listen to my dad before, but I don't spend more time with anyone else in the world than with him now. I don't want to be like anyone else. I want to be like my dad. And that's the main thing in life. It's who you surround yourself with, and that's what makes you as who you are, the way you are, and everything. And I'm not saying don't have friends or don't have a life. Even those people help you grow.
But be selective.
But
because you only have a certain amount of time. So
be careful.
Yeah.
Not just selective. Be careful with who you're around. It's a trait which can be picked up very easily. I did say children are sponges, before. It's the same thing with us. We are as well. If I today decided to go and hang around with Floyd Mayweather, I'll probably end up spending millions, buying expensive watches and things. So it's not only being selective, it's about being careful about who you're around. It could be Floyd Mayweather who would, make you spend millions and buy expensive watches because you want to reach that level. But that's the wrong direction, Then you've got other people. If you try and go and spend time with Elon Musk, I mean, do you think you'll invent Tesla? No, but you'll have some knowledge of how the person works in their daily life, how they do everything else that they do and what makes them them. We're talking about Elon Musk. He lives in a shed, literally, right? And he's the most reclusive person in the world. But he still hangs around with amazing people, the likes of Bill Gates and everybody else. And where do you think he gained his knowledge and how he did it very carefully, and he is where he is today because of that. Yes, okay, fine. Intelligence and knowledge takes some skills, but where do you get that intelligence and knowledge from? It's from the people you hang around with. It's not just so much your business or the practicality of life. It's who you are.
Would you say that also content is really important because some people, they don't have that luxury of being around certain people? Me personally, in my early years, I found that I used to listen to some of those speeches from those individuals because there was lessons in those things, because even 15-20 years ago you wouldn't be able to learn
100%. I was literally just saying this as well earlier to him, that I have a car here, this Ferrari, grey colour one, and it belongs to a guy called Larry Wheels. Some of your listeners will know who he is. He's a bodybuilder, and when I was younger, I used to love bodybuilding, right? But if I did not watch his videos, right, I would not know certain techniques of how to do certain lifts or how to do some types of bodybuilding or whatever else. Today, that guy's bringing his car to me, but I didn't have that connection back then. It doesn't matter about the connection you have. It's about responding and learning to what you are watching, and responding and learning to it in the right ways, rather than thinking, yeah, I can do that overnight. No, that guy was lifting that dumbbell, which is 45 kilograms. I know I can't lift 10 kilograms. I can't lift 10 kilograms. How am I going to lift 45 kilograms? But I know the right way to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
I will get to 45 at some point. And when you get to 45, I can do better. And then you carry on. And eventually you get to a point where you can lift 50 kilograms and then he wants to come and see you, right? And that's how it comes. It's not just about knowing the people or hanging around with those specific type of people that you're watching. Those people can be anybody. It can be your granddad, it can be your uncles, it can be your aunties, it can be your teachers, it could be anybody. Hang around with the right people, select them carefully, and follow the advice with caution. That's all. That's all it is. Yes, watching content is very important. We live in a digital age, and this is what I was saying about. Yes, my father doesn't know much about YouTube or whatever, but he's 20 times the man I am today. And why is he? Because he learnt it. That's him. If I learned that from him, I can, do better.
And everyone's got their own way of learning. Some people read, some people watch content, some people listen to podcasts, like whatever works for you, but you have to make sure that you're doing those things to expand your knowledge. Okay, perfect. Well, Talha, has been a real pleasure.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, why don't you let the people know where they can follow you? Obviously, it will be in the description as well.
Of course.
But anything else you got coming up, and any final words that you may have for everyone watching?
As I said, we have our clothing brand launching.
You got
soon.
too many businesses to promote.
No. I'm literally just going to talk about the clothing brand, LD and DXB. My Shisha Cafe pipes. Come check it out in Dubai. As I said, your guys are all from the UK, but anybody else that is in Dubai, we've got Ditech. But the UK guys, we've got our car rental company, supercars, luxury, anything. You can come and catch us. You can follow me on my page, just T Nasir. That's it, and everything's on my bio. You can find out more about me there.
Perfect. Thank you so much for making the time, and thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon.